Hello everyone, welcome to United Chokros and welcome to a new episode of DV and AB show. And as always, joining with us is our best friend DV. Please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell icon to get the latest notification. One thing is very strange today that I see is DV seems to be very happy even after the scoreline what happened over the weekend. So DV, can you please elaborate me what exactly is your reason behind this happiness?
Bro, I was not happy for the weekend, and we drew against Manchester City. And it was not just because of the draw, because also of the way we played and, the negative style of play. I was not at all happy. A lot of players were happy. Solskjaer believed that it was our best performance against Manchester City, but I thought it otherwise. And I think Solskjaer is a lot of crap when he says all this. But yes, seeing the results yesterday, Liverpool drew against Fulham, and Chelsea lost. Then City drew. So a lot of results going in our way, and I don't want to start dreaming here, but you can see we are in a title race. We are very close to the top, top four teams, and if the results go in our other results go in our way and we start winning the games, we might be title contenders. I just don't want to start dreaming because I know Ole is going to bottle it at the end. But still, I want to be excited. I want to be happy at this point in time. So that's why I'm happy. I want to believe. No matter I know that Ole is going to bottle it, but I want to keep the hope alive. That's why I'm happy.
But yeah, as you said very correctly, we have the advantage of having an extra game with us in hand, and
Yes.
with the matches is happened this week, it's a big bonus for us. Also, to keep
Correct.
in mind, there are two big games which is going to happen tomorrow, Liverpool and Tottenham. Just imagine
Today, bro.
if they both draw or if
Today.
either of them lose a point,
Hmm.
it is going to be again a bonus for us.
Hmm.
And then Leicester against Everton. So again, so these games are going to be a big boost for us. Let the score line go either ways. Since we have one game in hand, a victory for us, and we'll be right there in the top five. So yes, a big boost for us, DV. Now let's come to our
Yes.
main thing, the match over the weekend, United and Man City. What do you think were the positives in the game and some negatives which you could improve and take it forward in the next game for us?
Uh, couldn't find much positives in that game. I really hated that performance. Defensively we are very good. Harry Maguire had a good game, and of course Luke Shaw. I'm going to talk about Luke Shaw in a minute, but the way we played that game, the way we approached that game, our attackers Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, they hardly had the ball with them to do something to create chances for Rashford and Greenwood. They didn't get any. There was no passing movement. When you look at the game again, yes, we were at times, having possession, but it was all in our half. Our defenders passing the ball between themselves. It was reminding of us the Vanguard time, sideways, backwards passing. It was very disappointing in that sense. We didn't go for an attacking, style of play. If you see, look at the Man City team that is currently playing this season. It is far much weaker than the team which was playing a couple of seasons back when they won the title with 100 points. So it was a very good opportunity for us to win because they're also not confident. They are dropping points. But what we went ahead and did, we had a very slow game. We wanted to keep the clean sheet. We were scared of their attackers. Now coming to our good point, it's a slap in the face to those people who have always criticized Luke Shaw. What a game he had! Superb performance, and I believe that he is one of the best world class, one of the best left backs in the Premier League. Because if you see him, he literally pocketed Mahrez, and when Torres came in, even Torres had no room, on the on the right hand side of Man City. He was that good. He was the best player on the pitch. Combined 20, all the 22 players, Luke Shaw was the best player on the pitch, and I really like that performance. And he's my favorite player, along with the Martial. The the performance level was world class. The level was world class, and I believe the competition that he's got from Alex Telles that has only helped him improve his performances over the week. So that is one of the biggest positive points that we have. And of course, Harry Maguire had a really good game, which I want him to have. every week and do it more consistently, it's only good for us. So that's what I believe, bro. Positives and negatives. What about you? I haven't spoken to you much after the City game. What do you think was good about the City game and bad about the City game?
Well, yes, Maguire had a really good game, and his it was a very rare scenario to see his header on target. He did not convert that into a goal though, but it was a very good attempt from Maguire. Had it been an inch here or there, it could have been a goal for us. It was a superb header from Maguire, and yes, a very good game for Luke Shaw as well. There is no, after Patrice Evra, the next best left back I would say is Luke Shaw currently, which I could see right now, and he
Hmm.
has a very good competition with Alex Telles. As we had said earlier as well, Davey, if you remember, the more better players in the same position, it will be a very tough competition to get in the squad. And more or less, that will be a bit, it will be more beneficial for us as a team. So every
Correct.
player would give their 100% to get into the starting
Hmm.
11 to be in that spot. And that is perfectly what we could see with Luke Shaw. But for me, the man of the moment, the man of every moment nowadays is only and only Fred. He did a wonderful job against Man City as well. And as you said, in almost every videos, he's the only man who's doing the dirty job of handling the midfield, of taking care of the midfield as well as a defense at the same time. And as per the current status, if you see, most of the Manchester United fans have voted him as a second best player after Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno
So that
Fernandes,
in
yes.
itself, it's a very big achievement for Fred, I would say. And I think so he should be playing the same way, the way he is doing right now. Negatives,
Agreed.
yes, I think so. We did lack a bit in the defense. Mahrez had a chance, which De Gea got a superb save. I thought it
Oh,
was easily 1-0,
amazing,
but he
amazing
really
save.
made a great save. Apart from that, more or less, yes, as you very correctly said, we did play a very defensive game. We did not see the much of an attack apart from one Rashford's miss. Uh, I cannot call it a miss, but though as you can expect from Rashford, I thought he could have at least hit it on target, maybe not on
On
goal.
target, yes, yes.
On target, maybe a tough job for the keeper, but nevertheless, a point is much more important, I would say, at this point of time. Looking at our condition, I thought a loss would be there on our hand, but uh, more or less, let us be convinced with the 1 point, DV.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
the most
absolutely.
important point which we can see as a United fan and which any other clubs can see is Solskjaer is not constant. Now, when I say constant, he's not constant with his formation or maybe with his starting 11. What and the main thing, DV, it's happening from day one, from when this player has been signed, Donny Van de Beek. I mean, where is this player? He is always on the substitute bench, even after having so beautiful performances in his previous games. Is there any reason, DV, that you feel Van der Beek should be on the bench, or is there something what is stopping Soldier to play him? And what is that is making Soldier so confused that he has to change his formation and he's still not constant with the starting lineup? What do you have to say about it?
I really don't know, bro, because I don't know what does Van der Beek now have to do, to get into the starting lineup. The the performance that he's put in when he was given the opportunity, he's given his best. You play him as a number 10, you play him as a deep lying midfielder. There's one thing for sure, he's giving his 100%. The dedication is there, the tenacity is there. Not only that, he's 100 times a better player than Scott McTominay. I'm not sure what is it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Scott McTominay. He keeps on starting him in every game, but he's completely wasting Donny Van der Beek, and I really feel sad. At times I feel like crying. What a player we have, and we are wasting such a talent. You imagine Donny Van der Beek and Bruno starting together week in, week out. The amount of games that they start together, they have that combination, the understanding, they get to know each other, and the passing moment increases, attacking flair increases. We get to create more chances for Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood, also Cavani. So this is what Donny Van der Beek brings into the game. Not only does he do that, he also has a defensive job cut off. He makes sure that he tracks back and does the defensive job that he's given to do. Now he's in nowhere defensive midfielder. He's more of a number 10 attacking number 8. You can say a box to box midfielder who likes to attack and score goals. But if you ask him to do the defensive job, he's not shy in doing that. You could see him again in the Southampton game where he used to win, where he won so many tackles, and against I think it was Istanbul. Yeah, he played had such a wonderful game, and even after having such consistent performance, he's not been played. He's been put on the bench against Manchester City. He was not even brought on as a substitute. That's so sad to see such a great player. And coming back to Solskjaer's tactics, I don't know what his starting lineup is. I don't know what tactics he wants to go with because he was asked in the press conference that you keep on changing your tactics, and I think he got annoyed. He got irritated, and he questioned the reporter. You tell me what change did you? I don't think reporter was smart enough to get back to him because if it was you or me, we would have cross-questioned him. He said that I only changed it 4 times in last 20 games. Yeah, but you did start 4-2-3-1, but the tactics were completely wavered. In one game, you go with the same formation 4-2-3-1. You attack in one game, other game you defend. You you keep on changing your starting 11. You adapt as per the opposition. Why do you want to do that? You're not a mid-table team. You're not a relegation battling team. You are a top side. You're Manchester United. You need to have your best starting lineup. You need to know your tactics. You need to know what you want to do. Look at Liverpool. Look at Man City. Look at Real Madrid. Look at Barcelona. They have a fixed plan. They know what they want to do. Yes, they will make a tweak here and there according to the game plan if required. But their starting lineup, their tactics, the way the style of play will always be the same. And Manchester United, I'm sorry, they do not have a style of play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's as if we are adapting to the opposition. If you're playing Sheffield United, yeah, we will attack more. If we're playing Liverpool or Man City, we'll defend, and we'll try to nick in a goal. That's how the mentality is, and I'm really sorry. It's a sad state for United. Yes, we are in very close to top position if we win a few games, but it's really bad because it's not because we've done pretty well. It's because other teams are playing very poor. That's why we are in that. We are close to Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. So I don't know what to say, bro, because yes, like I said, we are in a good position, but I'm sure he's going to bottle it. Definitely, he's going to bottle it. Come January, he's going to bottle it. Now, I want to know your perspective on Donny Van der Beek because I know you also like the player a lot and you appreciate him the way he plays. I want to know what your perspective is, what your point is about Donny Van der Beek. Why is Solskjaer not starting? Because I am not able to understand his tactics. Why wouldn't he start Donny Van der Beek?
Well, DV, it's very clear for me that he has a very soft corner for McTominay. Apart from that, I don't see any other reason for him starting McTominay first instead of Van de Beek.
But soft
Number of
corners don't win you games. Soft corners don't win you games.
that's absolutely that we understand as a fan, but there is something that Soldier needs to understand. And these soft corner games are okay when it comes to the emotional part, but when you're coming to a very practical part, you can see what game conversion rate or maybe the passing conversion rate what Van de Beek has and what McTominay has. McTominay, I would not say he's a bad player though; he's a very good player, but he's good defensively. But when it comes to attack, he's not that good at attack. But Van der Beek can switch his role very clearly and he can do it very fast. He doesn't have to wait or doesn't have to think. You see his one touch passes. It's crystal clear, DV. It's when I say crystal clear, it has to be on this, it has to be on the point. And with Van der Beek, I can see it from day one. So even he was just as good as Bruno, when Bruno came in, he did not take time to adjust to the team. And similarly, I can see the same with Van der Beek. But
Mm.
it's completely not justified that he's being a very quality player, not able to get a chance in the starting 11. I really, as you said, you feel like crying. I don't feel like crying anymore. I actually really get angry when I see him not in the starting lineup and I see him in the substitute. I'm really, I can just imagine what he's going through as a player. Every picture of his, I see a smile, but I know somewhere down the line, he's actually very, he's very upset with the thing that he's not in the starting lineup. And it's a very bad thing, I would say. Soldier has to understand what he needs to do right now. And McTominay is a good player, again, I would say. But if you give me an opportunity between McTominay and Van de Beek, whom to choose, my decision is very clear. And it has been very clear from day one when I've seen Van de Beek play. It has to be Donny Van de Beek, DB, for me. So really, again, coming back to the point, really not knowing what Solskjaer is thinking right now. So I just hope he changes his thinking. The way he's becoming angry, he's showing his emotions right now. So let his emotions come in the right place rather than the wrong place by selecting McTominay. And as far as the his tactics are concerned, it's still a big puzzle. every day, as you said very correctly, big teams they have their starting lineup. So if you see the earlier Manchester United team, we knew what team it's going to be, and every
Absolutely.
manager, irrespective of how big or how small the manager is, he knows who are his top 11 players, irrespective he has a squad of 30 or 40 or how much ever players that he has. In his mind, he's very crystal clear that these are my top 11 players. On any given day, I can trust these 11 players, and they are going to be my top 11 to go on the pitch and win this game for us. Yes, a slight change here or there, maybe because of an injury or maybe because of a very big game in the next coming week or so. There could be a substitution here or there. There could be an experiment here or there. But more or less, a starting 11, a winning starting 11 for a team is what a manager sees in his players, and that is something which we do not see around nowadays. And it's
Mm.
being the same since the starting of this season, and that is one of the major reasons, DV, that we are being hit with the losses that we had or maybe the draws that we had. That's the starting lineup is the biggest problem for us, I would say.
Super.
At times we have Matic, at times we have Mata, at times we have McTominay, at times we have Donny van de Beek. So there's nothing constant in this team. If you see the starting lineup, whenever we have predicted, more or less 99 to 98% we have been right. But that one slight change here or there has been there always. And that is something what Soldier think is a gamble, but that gamble always gets the better of us. So I think so you should stop that. And his formations, it's better to talk less about the formations because whatever he
Yeah.
tries to do, it ends up on the wrong way for us. So really clueless right now. But as I said, nothing has been lost yet. Okay, we are out of the Champions League. That's fine. That's our destiny right now that we have to go ahead with it. But it's a very good chance to come in the Premier League now. Come strong in the Premier League now. It's one thing is for clear that you're out of the Champions League. You don't have to stress much on the Champions League part. You're already out of it. So let's concentrate more on the Premier League and win the Premier League. And something has to be done for the formation and for the starting 11, DV. So, DV, Soldier needs to learn from where his mistakes are. And with those mistakes, if he clears them up, it becomes a very big question for all our United fans and for the entire Premier League. Are we the real title contenders? I know the answer though, but yes, there seems to be a small glimpse of it. So, could we be a title contender, DV, this season?
You can take it two ways, this thing. It is an opportunity for Solskjaer, because the criticism he's got, his job is on the stake, Pochettino linked with us. This could be a perfect way to answer his critics. Look at the games we have. Sheffield United tomorrow at Bramall Lane, Leeds United at Old Trafford. When we play Wolves away, yeah, that's a difficult game. Then Leicester City away. I think we can beat Leicester City. We beat them last season 2-0 at their, at their home. So we can beat them again. And then New Year's Day, it's Aston Villa. So the next 5 games are really good. It's a good opportunity for United to get at least 12 to 13 points out of these games. If we were to get 12 to 13 points, I'm sure we will be in top three. Come January 1st, when once the Villa game is over, if we get 12 to 13 points out of those 15 points, we will be in the top three and we will be very close to be title contenders. Because remember, we have a game in hand. I am not a believer of having a game in hand. I don't think it's an advantage. A lot of people do, but I don't think it's an advantage. But yes, still a game in hand is a game in hand. You never know. We can end up winning that game. So advantage for us, but the most important thing, can we do it? Can we do it? Now, see, this thing is that even if we go on a winning run, like how Ole loves doing it when he joined the club and then after lockdown, we go on a winning run. The problem here is we've got knocked out of the Champions League, but we are back in that stupid Europa League. And we'll have to play at the midweek. And the worst part is Champions League is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Europa League is on Thursday. So you play Thursday the Europa League, then on the weekend after 2 days you play the Premier League. The tiredness gets to the player. So if by come January end and February beginning, if we are actually title contenders, we'll get to know by then. Okay, we are actually title contenders. I think we should, let go of Europa League. Let the youngsters start. That shouldn't matter. Let's not focus on Europa League. If we can win those games, a bonus for us. If we lose it, it's okay. let's focus on the Premier League title. That is if we win our games in January and December. Okay, if we come out, try to get maximum points in come December and January, then we are in a good position. And I think we should let go of Europa League because I don't like playing on watching us on Thursday nights. It's an Arsenal Cup, so let's not focus on that cup. I think we should give youngsters chance if they can do good. It's a bonus for us. If we're out of the cup, no worries, no issues. We can focus in the Premier League and try to achieve the topmost position as possible. That's my way of feeling. And come January, if we can buy a player or two, also that will boost up our squad and help us, get close to the title. Now, like I said, I am dreaming here. I am excited. I am seeing a glimpse of hope, like you said, but I know he's going to bottle it. He has the habit of bottling it, and he will do it, I'm sure. And I want to know, what do you feel? Do you think we will win the title, or do you think we stand a chance to win the title, or be title contenders by the end of January, February?
Well, looking at our performance nowadays, yes, we are winning the games, but at the same time, we are much more dependent on the big teams who are losing nowadays.
Correct,
So,
correct.
it's just these games are just gonna happen once or twice. So we should be lucky enough that Arsenal has lost point. Arsenal is way behind us, so that's not a point to be worried about. But Chelsea is something that we need to be
Yeah,
happy about. Now, coming on tomorrow's game, which will be between Tottenham and Liverpool, just imagine
mm.
if it's a one-all draw. Just imagine if that's the case. We get
Once
much more
both
closer.
of them drop.
So we get much more closer to them to get it to the starting top three of the table. So more or less, I would say we are much more luckier in this season that the other teams, the top teams, have not been able to perform good or not been able to win the last like they were doing in the last season. So, thinking about a title contender, I think so it is going to be very difficult because if we have to be consistent. We have to win all the small games. Okay, big games here or there, mistakes do happen, and the big teams are going to get the better of us. Looking at our squad right now, so that's something where we can, expect that we may lose or we may get a draw. But against all the small clubs, we have to win, and this is the biggest mistake which we did in the last season and which we are repeating now as well. We are losing
Again.
points to all the small clubs from which we easily could get a 3 pointer or maybe at least a 1 pointer, but we are losing the game. So if we become consistent, there could be a possibility. Yes, Europa is not the priority for me too. So just imagine we are playing Europa, we have our top 11 in the team, we are playing Europa, and just imagine we are a contender at the moment and we lose our Bruno Fernandes in the
Yeah,
Europa because of an
exactly.
injury. So
That's what
that
I'm
will
talking
ruin
about. Yeah,
that'll ruin our entire season. Just imagine
yeah.
Europa is gone for sure, and for sure we're going to lose Premier League as well. So yes, we can rest our top players in the Europa. Let the youngsters play the game. Let them enjoy what they were supposed to enjoy if we had been a part of the Champions League. But
Hmm.
let's make sure that our top players are well and fit for the big games for the Premier League. And if everything goes good, DV, I think so. We should be one of the top contenders. Again, it's a dream for me too. We are all in a dream world nowadays because whatever we think, it's not happening our way. So let's be in a dream world. Let's expect that we win, and it's not fair to say, but we have to also expect that the bigger teams lose. So DV, now coming with the point for the next game, which is going to happen day after tomorrow, midnight game, Sheffield United versus Manchester United. Your starting 11, and what do you think Soldier would start as top 11?
I think starting 11, the back four is going to be the same, which we had against Man City. Um, he'll go with McFred again, Bruno Fernandes, and then I think it'll be Mata on the right, Rashford on the left, and I think Martial will start. Cavani is injured, I think, because he said in the press conference Cavani may not play. So yes, this is what I think he'll go with. We may get to see Dean Henderson as a goalkeeper, but let's see. Whether he goes with David Dyer or Dean Henderson. I'm not sure about that. But yes, the remaining 10 players, I'm sure definitely this is the starting lineup for Solskjaer. For me, if you ask, this is Sheffield United. They've only got 1 point in this entire season. They've hardly scored a 4 or 5 goals. This is a perfect game to give chance to players like Axel Twanzebe, Donny van der Beek, players who are hungry, who have shown what they can do at times. Twanzebe maybe he's made some mistakes, but he's also shown a lot of positivity. He's a young player. So if he makes mistakes, it's allowed. It's absolutely fine because he's going to learn from his mistakes. But you end up Lindelof making that same kind of mistake. Why would you do that? You would rather give Twanzebe a chance in such a game because this is definitely a win-win game for us. I would have Twanzebe and Maguire or Twanzebe. In fact, I can even have Twanzebe and Luke Shaw starting as centre back and let Teres play the left back. Even we could do that because Luke Shaw has played very good as a centre back in the three defensive centre back, when we started. So yes, I could do that as well. And I could give Fosu Mensah or let Aaron Van Bissaka start. That's okay with me. And I could have Nemanja Matic, who's not played much. He and Donny van der Beek start in that two midfield position. Let Bruno play up front, and then Greenwood, Rashford, or you can even rest Rashford. Let Greenwood and Mata play, and Martial play up front because Rashford has had a lot of games and he had a couple of niggles as well. So let's rest Rashford for the Leeds game, and let's start Mata and Greenwood. And you never know if you're winning 4-0, 5-0, you can bring someone like Ethan Laird, Facundo Pellistri from the bench, and give them an opportunity. This is an amazing game for us. This has come at the perfect time. Other teams are dropping. I think we should win this game, and I have no doubt we'll win this game. But the most important thing is the opportunities need to be given to other players, and this is the perfect game for that to happen. What do you think, bro? What do you think will be the starting lineup, and what do you think we should go with?
Well, I think so, more or less, as you said, Soldier 11 would be the same, as you said very correctly. The back four
Hmm.
remains same for him. I think
Correct.
again he would go with the McFred combination. I don't know what makes him do that every time. So he would go with the McFred combination. He would play Greenwood on the right, Bruno, Rashford, and I think so he would start Martial. He would try to go with more of an attacking team towards the
Hmm.
front. But as you said very correctly, yes, we should be giving a good amount of chances to the players who are there on the bench who are not getting quality time to play. As you said, Swansea would make some mistake, but that's absolutely fine because there are players in the squad who are playing almost every game but still creating mistakes. So that's fine. He could play this game. He could be given a fair amount of chance in this game. So even I would rest Lindelof. Instead, I would play Swansea. In the center back, sorry, in the midfield, I would play Matic and Fred. I would play Van der Beek on the right hand side on the wing. Uh, Maybe Greenwood towards the left, Bruno in the center, and I would play Rashford as a striker. Yes, he's been
Hmm.
making some mistakes, but I would say he's anytime better for me in when I compare him and Martial. So I always have a soft corner towards Rashford as compared to Martial. So I would play Rashford in the front, and he would be assisted with Bruno as always. So Divi, your score line. So as you said, we would win. So a win is very sure for you. So what would be a score line, Divi?
I'm gonna be brutal on this. It's gonna be 5-0.
5-0. Did
Yeah,
I hear
five
it
nil
right? Or
because
is it
yeah,
something
yeah,
that I heard it
yeah.
wrongly?
No, no, no. I'm gonna be brutal on this. It's gonna be 5-0 because I think they'll step up. It's the Bramall Lane, Sheffield United. I think will win this game. We should win this game 5-0 for me. Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, Van der Beek will score, and I missed out Pogba, his favorite player. Yeah, but I think Bruno will score, Rashford will score a couple of goals. It will be Greenwood, and I think one of them will be our defenders. So 5-0 for me. That's what the scoreline is, and I stick to that. I'm confident we'll score a lot of goals in this game. What about you, bro?
I think so. I'll go with a 2-0 win, Devi. Even I want the team to win. But let me also be practical at the same time. Looking at our team's performance, I don't see much of an attacking team because more or less Solskjaer would go with the same defensive part. But yes, I think so. Bruno and Rashford would go with the goals. So it's a 2-0 win for me, DV. I hope we win this game. And as you said very correctly, it's a very good chance for us to start this game on a winning note because there are very crucial games coming up in the coming days. So let's
Mhm.
hope we start with the win, DV. Anything else, DV, that you would like to say about the game or maybe about the team? Anything that you would like to share with us?
No, bro. All I want to say is let's end the 2020 on a positive note. Really good games coming up, and if we end up winning this game, we go into the new year on high and very close to Tottenham and Liverpool. Then we can close in the gap in the month of January, and then if we sign a couple of players in January, nothing like it. We can be title contenders. So I look for positivity, and I want United to do well because this is the best opportunity we'll get to come close to the becoming a title contenders. So yes, that's all from mine. Anything you want to add, baby?
Yeah, I would just like to say, DV, a very big game, I would say, against Sheffield United. A win from here, positive attitude towards the next game. Because if you see, DV, there are in the coming 16 days, we have 6 games to be played. So
Six
that,
games, yeah.
by the start of January, it's going to be a roller coaster in the Premier League table. Anything could change. We could be on top. We could be there in the top 10. We could be out of the top 10. We could again be back in 14th position, or irrespective what the position would be. But
Yeah.
everyone, this 16 days could be the title changer for every team, I would say. So let's
Yeah.
hope we do good. Every team does good, not the top ones, maybe a point here or there for them. And let us make sure that we win all the 6 games, the crucial 6 games, I would say, for this season. If we win all 6 games, DV, I think so for sure we would be the title contenders. With that good note, thank you everyone for watching our video, and please do like and subscribe to our channel. If there is anything, any suggestions, please put it in the comment section and we'll certainly work on it. Thank you, Divi, for joining us as always. Take care, everyone, and let's hope we end on a winning note. Bye bye.
Bye bye.